Welcome to Spoiler Piece Theater, the podcast that doesn't give a shit about spoilers. We just want to talk about the movies. My name is Evan Crean. My pronouns are he, him. I am co-chair of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, co-author of your 80s Movie Guide to Better Living, and co-host of the It's the Pictures podcast.
And my name is Dave Riedel. I'm a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association. My pronouns are he, him, and other podcasts. Well, we're working
Coming
on
soon.
It. Yeah, I don't know how soon, but yeah, we're working on it. The royal we.
Yeah, but also I will be appearing on an episode.
Yes.
Coming soon, listeners.
Yes. Yeah, we're not going to give away names or anything yet. Although I bought the domain name yesterday, so
Nice.
There you go.
Sweet.
I was just wait. Someone is going to have this fucking domain. Nobody had it, so good.
Always nice when that happens. You didn't have to go for like a .net or something.
Nope, it's a .com. I was going to make it a .fun in honor of the Lady Wan, but I chickened out. So it's a .com.
Nice. Well, we have two movies we're going to be talking about today, but before we get to those movies, I will mention that over on our Patreon, this week we're talking about a 2009 film called Triangle, which is kind of like sci-fi with some horror, suspense, thriller, action going on.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a fun conversation about that. So if you're a patron, check that out. If you're not a patron, please consider becoming one. For $5 a month, you get access to weekly bonus episodes that we do, including ones like that. And we have hundreds of episodes in ye old back catalog that you can also listen to. And so, also, while we're on the topic of Patreon, I want to thank our sponsor piece patron, Heather Sachs. Heather, thank you for your support.
Thank you, Heather.
And yeah, you also get to vote in monthly polls for that $5 a month, and we're going to have one coming next week. So look out for that, patrons. And for this week's movies, we're going to be talking about the movie Normal, which Dave is going to talk about in a minute, and Outcome, which we will both talk about. But starting first with Normal, which is directed by Ben Wheatley and written by Derek Kolstad and Bob Odenkirk, and starring Bob Odenkirk. Also has Lena Headey, Henry Winkler, and I don't know if there's other people you want to call out in it, Dave, but
I don't think so.
Okay. And I will give the one sentence IMDb summary, and then I will allow you to take it away. So IMDb says, centers on a temporary small town sheriff who uncovers dark mysteries after a local bank robbery. What do we think?
I mean, that's correct. Centers on a temporary small town sheriff who uncovers dark mysteries after a local. Yeah, I mean, there's one dark mystery, really. So this movie opens up in Japan.
What?
Yeah. And it turns out that, there's these three guys who are brought into the head of this Yakuza branch. And the guy's like, and it's in Japanese, which I appreciate. I thought for sure these guys were all going to be speaking English, but no, it's in Japanese. And he's like, you three fucked up. So you know what the penalty is. And there's like 3 knives on 3 little tables. And, you got to cut your pinky off basically and give it to him to prove that you deserve another chance. So 2 guys do it. And the third guy like fakes it. And then he's like about to cut himself. And he's like, I just can't. And so the Yakuza boss just pulls a katana out of nowhere and just severs its head.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's quite the opening to a movie.
And I was like, ooh, hard R. Okay.
It's Ben Wheatley. Come on.
Yeah. A lot of practical effects in this, by the way. When I'm just going to spoiler piece this one right now. At the 1 hour mark, when Henry Winkler explodes on screen, it's kind
of course he would.
Funny. Anyway, so the accuser says, all right, you two are on the next plane to, to Normal, Minnesota. And it turns out, Bob Odenkirk is the temporary sheriff because the other sheriff died. He had a heart attack and when he was walking outside and collapsed and then, got hypothermia on top of the heart attack. And Bob Odenkirk used to be like a regular sheriff, and then he there was a woman in town, a girl in town. She was like 16, and she came to him and said, my father's been abusing me. And he's like, I didn't believe her. And he said, then, I get a call one night from her mother that there's a commotion at their house. And I go over there, and his daughter has shot her dad in the arm, and she's pointing the gun at him. And he's apologizing for all the things that she already told me he did. So now I realize I was wrong.
Mhm.
And so I tell her I draw my gun. I tell her to put the gun down, but instead she shoots her dad right between the eyes. And then I shot her, and so now I resigned, and I'm trying to figure out, how I could have been so wrong. And that's why I only do these short gigs and like don't make any trouble because, well, it turns out he helps a bank robber get some kind of candy out of a vending machine. She's like, hey, she's kicking the vending machine. He's like, hey, what's going on? She's like, like my Snickers bar won't fall down. And he's like, oh, well, hang on. And he's like, which do you think will get it down? The pretzels or the potato chips or whatever? And she's like, the potato chips. So he puts in his money, gets it knocked down. He gives her both things. She's got a dog and he likes the dog. And she's like clearly carrying a pistol on her hip, and she covers it up with her coat, but he doesn't notice it. And it turns out she's one of the bank robbers, and she and her husband rob this bank, and the two Yakuza guys are the security guards. And it turns out the town, you learned early on in the movie, is like a failing small town, like a lot of the towns in the United States. And they made a deal with the Yakuza to keep their gold and a bunch of cash in their bank vault in exchange for the town basically being funded, everything in the town being funded by the Yakuza. Like anything you need, new buildings, whatever, we'll do it. And the entire town is in on it.
That's interesting.
So Bob Odenkirk is about to go in because during the bank robbery, of course, there's a commotion, and the Yakuza guys, well, first of all, a customer has a heart attack. And so the bank robbers, because they're actually decent people at heart, they've just like lost their jobs too or whatever. They start like they start doing like
CPR.
compression. Yeah, CPR. And that gets the guy who's doing CPR stabbed. And then his wife, pulls her gun and shoots. I think she has a shotgun by that point. She shoots one of the Yakuza guys just like dead. And then the other one gets shot, but he survives because he's wearing a vest. And I don't think the other one was. And then the bank manager, Bob Odenkirk, has gone in there, and his own deputies start shooting at him. And he's like, what the fuck is going on? And then the bank manager is like, I'll tell you what's going on. And he takes him to the vault, and there's all the gold and all the cash. And then he runs away, and Bob Odenkirk's like, wait a minute, you got to talk to me about this. Because he said, it's Yakuza or whatever. And then the bank manager goes and gets a gun out of his drawer, and he's like, I shouldn't have told you or something. And then he trips and shoots himself in the chin and kills himself, just like the guy in Out of Sight on the stairs. And so Bob Odenkirk says to the bank robbers, well, they're trying to kill you and they're trying to kill me. So I figure that we're on the same team now. And if we have any chance of getting out of here, we got to get out of here. And turns out the sheriff's kid wasn't allowed to the funeral, and the sheriff's kid shows up, and there's a whole subplot with that isn't really done very well because it leaves a few questions hanging. But then the rest of the movie is just like Bob Odenkirk and the two bank robbers trying to get to the police station so they can get the snowplow and get out of town, because the snowplow is huge. Like, they make a point of showing it to you early on screen. This is after they've blown up Henry Winkler accidentally with a rocket launcher, or I guess it's a rocket propelled grenade.
Who is Henry Winkler in relation
He's
to this?
the mayor. He's the mayor.
Oh, okay.
So he's kind of like the leader of all. Like, he's the one.
Gotcha. He's in bed with the Yakuza, and he knows everything that's going on.
But everybody in town is in on it. Lena Headey is in on it. She tries to kill Bob Odenkirk, but the sheriff's kid is in one of the jail cells because Bob Odenkirk found him drinking in the truck and said, well, you know, I'll put you in the jail cell and don't worry, you know, I'll get you in the morning. You're not under arrest or anything. And because the whole commotion is going on, he never went to get the kid. So the kid like grabs, who was in the Navy or something like that, grabs Lena Headey's belt and wraps it around her arm and through the bars and gets her gun and shoots her in the side. And it's like, this is a really small part for Lena Headey. What the fuck is this?
Mm-hmm.
And then the bank robbers get away and the snowplow, and then they're just gone from the movie, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then the rest is like Bob Odenkirk, because the Yakuza, one of the security guards like signals the Yakuza that something's wrong in the town. He's got like, you know, a bat phone that he presses a button on, and then it makes something beep back in Japan. And they're like, Normal, Minnesota, we got to go there now. And Bob Odenkirk, he comes across the guy who's running for sheriff to replace the dead sheriff. And he says, yeah, we're all in it. And like in the Yakuza, if they get here, they're going to kill us all. And Bob Odenkirk says, well, what if we all band together and like kill the Yakuza? And they're like, okay. Or he said, we can, you know, the power went out, you know, there was a huge storm. They know that's true. We'll drive a truck through the doors of the bank and tell them, you know, there was a power outage and that's why they got the alarm. And they're like, okay, it could work. And then it does, the Yakuza show up and it does work. And then they're all having dinner together. And it turns out that and you learn this is like Chekhov's wall full of loaded shotguns. There's a diner in town and the guy who owns it has all of the shotguns that his grandfather collected and they're mounted on the walls. And Bob Odenkirk, when he's having dinner there one night, he's like, are those loaded? And the guy says, wouldn't be any fun if they weren't. And then he goes, huh? And Bob Odenkirk's like, oh, well, it turns out they are loaded. And I can't remember how it happens, but something like flies off a table or bounces off a table and hits one of the shotguns on the wall, and it falls off the wall and fires and shoots the Yakuza boss and blows his head off. And so they all start flipping tables and shooting at each other.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so everybody gets killed except for Bob Odenkirk, the guy who's running for sheriff, and the former sheriff's kid. And they just, you know, are like, all right, well, I guess this is what happened and we'll cover it up. And, you know, with the Yakuza dead, that now the town can keep all the money. It's very bizarre. It's a bizarre movie. And some of it works because some of the deaths are truly like Rube Goldberg-esque, like some of them are tedious, but some of them are hilarious. Like there's a woman who runs a yarn shop, and Bob Odenkirk. It's one of the bank robbers, or maybe it is Bob Odenkirk. I can't remember. See, it all runs together, Evan. And I just saw this last night. But she gets a knitting needle through the chin, and then it goes up and comes out her eyeball.
Oh my God!
Yeah. This movie is so fucking violent. I was stunned. I mean, it makes nobody look tame, you know, because nobody's fun. Nobody's ridiculous. The violence in this, I think this is what happens when you have Ben Wheatley directing what is supposed to be a comedy. You know, it's just like, and I just got to say, I've seen a bunch of Ben Wheatley movies now, and I don't like fucking one of them. I think he fucking sucks. I hate his work. I hate it. You know?
I've missed some of them, but yeah, I really had distaste for High Rise. There was that one I think he did about like people in the woods or something like that I really...
Oh, the two who were traveling in their camper. Oh, no, that's the one we saw. Right.
Sightseers. Yeah, no, I like Sightseers. I think that was a movie that I really enjoyed of his.
Yeah, I didn't
that
love
one
it.
I think is funny. That one is ultra violent, but I think has the right tone to it, despite the ultra violence.
And did he do Free Fire?
Yes, that's one I haven't seen of his.
Yeah. I saw pieces of it and was like, nah. So I mean, it's too bad that Bob Odenkirk has a story credit on this, because he's if you've ever seen Matt Foley, you know he's a better writer than that.
In the Earth, that was the one I couldn't think of. That's the one
that we saw for the show, was just the fucking worst. Right, that's right. We saw it for Sundance that year. yeah, I just don't. I mean, some of the action's good, some of it, but it's also like it's like 90 minutes long, and only 83 of it is story, of course, because the closing
Mhm.
credits just take forever, and there's no mid credits or post credit scene, thank God. And it surprisingly wears out its welcome at that running time. It's kind of like how I feel about Army of Darkness. How can a movie that's an hour and 21 minutes get boring? Well, it does, you know, and so does this. It just becomes like kind of tedious and hokey, and Bob Odenkirk, you know, hits all the right notes, but there's just only so much he can do. They kill off Henry Winkler really early, and I don't really like Henry Winkler playing an asshole because he's an asshole in this. I just, the only time I like him playing an asshole is in Scream. So I don't know. It's a mixed bag. It's not, I mean, somebody at the screening last night when it was over said very loudly, "That is the worst movie I've ever seen." And it's like, well, then consider yourself lucky because you haven't seen many movies, because
Yeah,
this
seriously.
is not the worst movie you've ever seen. It's not a good movie, but it's also like not a piece of shit. It's just stupid. You know, I don't know how else to,
Mhm.
you know, I think Ben Wheatley is absolutely the wrong person to direct this. I hated High
Kind of
Rise too.
sounds like it. Yeah.
High Rise is another one of those movies where like everything goes crazy and it ends up becoming about people taking a shit, right? Am I thinking of that
Yeah.
correctly? Yeah.
And shit and sex and violence and
Yeah.
it's frustrating.
Well, it's Blindness, the one with Willem Dafoe, High Rise. Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Yep.
I mean, this is going to be a pass for me, I guess, but you know, whatever. I talked about this for a surprisingly long time. Sorry.
No, it's all good. I was curious to hear about it because this was one I did want to see, but I just couldn't make the screening. And yeah, I mean, Ben Wheatley, I was already coming in a little bit skeptical, but I think
I mean, people
from your
love
description
him.
really does sound like he was not the right person to do this.
Yeah. People love him though. I don't like, he's
Mhm.
really, you know, people are like fanatic about him. I don't get it. So anyway,
Shrug.
yeah. What was the next movie we were doing?
Outcome,
Outcome.
which is it's written and directed by Jonah Hill, co-written by Ezra Woods, starring Keanu Reeves, Cameron Diaz, Matt Bomer, and Jonah Hill is also in it. Martin Scorsese is in it as an actor. David Spade is in it. Definitely an interesting cast. You got Van Jones playing himself, Drew Barrymore playing herself in like TV interview capacity. And yeah, I'll read the one sentence IMDb. Follows Hollywood star Reef as he is forced to confront his problems and atone for his past after being threatened by bizarre video footage from his past. It was horrendously
Who the
written.
fuck wrote that?
Yeah,
Jonah Hill?
horrendously written. I don't know. I don't know who would write that, but yeah, Keanu Reeves plays a movie star named Reef Hawk, which is just a silly name for an actor. But
So is Keanu Reeves, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, I mean,
it would. I don't think it's silly, but I people have made fun of his name for years.
right. And yeah, ultra famous, starred in major franchises, won some Oscars. But he's been out of the game for the past 5 years. You find out that he's been recovering from a heroin addiction, and he somehow managed to keep that hush hush. And he's just about to like spring back onto the scene, and then he gets blackmailed by this video, supposed video, and you don't see the video until the very end of the movie. It's not really. I guess it's not like the most incriminating, but it's just kind of sad when you find out what it is.
Yeah, it is sad. It's not. Aside from the fact that he didn't know he was being recorded.
Yeah, it's not like it's like, so listeners, it's not like he did something horrible, like he abused someone or did something really bad that he was like caught doing. Is literally just like chatting with a cam girl and like admitting that his life is sad and lonely, and she's like, "You want to see my tits?" And he's like, "Sure." And then he masturbates, and like that's the video. And it's just like, but he's so embarrassed about this video. Like there's the scene where he's like, how did this happen? I was so careful. I never recorded myself. I never let anybody record me. He's like super, super bent out of shape about it, understandably. And yeah, I mean, the movie is like him going around initially trying to apologize to any of the potential people he suspects could have this video, which apparently is a lot of people because he was a real huge asshole, or as they describe in the movie, a secret dick to people. Where like they were like his assistants, like, let's see, it could be your old trainer, your new trainer, your dog trainer, your pool guy, your old pool guy, the old pool guy. She's like listing off all of the people it could be, and it's a lot. Your mom could have done this, like your ex could have done this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that he's pissed off. It could be your old manager, who turns out is played by Marty Scorsese. So he goes around just trying to apologize to all these people to see if he can like suss out who the person is. Turns out, by the way, it's none of those people. Nor is it actually David Spade, who shows up as his like kind of weird neighbor renting a house next to him. Although David Spade's character is like the broker for the guy who has the video.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jonah Hill plays his unhinged crisis attorney. He's bald. He's got crazy glasses and a long curly white beard. He calls everybody Bubby, or Bubby is actually how he says it. And yeah, his best friends are Cameron Diaz and Matt Bomer, and they're kind of like with him through thick and thin because, like, you know, he's been a dick to them too, and he doesn't actually loop around to like give them a sincere apology to the end. But yeah, I mean, he's just going around apologizing to people and being kind of like introspective and having emotional moments with like some moments of kind of like zany comedy. I think this movie has kind of an identity crisis. I'm just like, I don't think it's kind of all over the place. And while I think there are actually some moments that work for me, like some moments that I did find legitimately funny and some really, I think, well acted moments from Keanu Reeves, where you do feel like there's an emotional like truth that comes through. It does feel like there are real emotions. It's not, even though he's told to go and apologize to these people, even if you don't mean it, I feel like he actually does mean it in a lot of the times that he's apologizing to people. I think he actually is sitting and listening and taking account for the bad shit that he did and actually trying to make amends. So that was something I think that surprised me throughout the movie, is that he seemed like he actually was being introspective and wasn't just doing it for show.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's kind of all over the place. Like Jonah Hill sometimes feels like he's in a completely different movie because his character is just so unhinged. Like there's a scene where he's like, I have to go take a shit, so you should follow me into the bathroom. And he's like holding court on the toilet while taking a shit, and then like complaining that the toilet paper is not good enough. So like he has to send the assistant to go get the good toilet paper from the good bathroom. And he's like correcting Keanu Reeves of like, oh, you don't call it a master bathroom. It's called you don't call it the master bedroom. You call it like the main bedroom or whatever.
Oh yeah, primary. Yeah,
the primary. Yeah. So there's just lots of like weird shit in this movie, but like some lines that I found legitimately funny and some things that I just thought were really funny. Like there's like a bumper sticker that made me crack up that was like on the back of Jonah Hill's like minivan, and for some reason in the movie he's got a son who's in a wheelchair, and that's a thing that they dwell on for a minute. And also there's a weird post-credit thing where you just see pictures of his character with his son. Like feel like
that
he's a weirdo.
Weird.
He's a weirdo, but he's a really good dad. Anyway, there's a bumper sticker on the back of his car that says honk if you can separate the art from the artist, which I actually found quite funny. So there's some moments that I thought were legitimately funny. There were some moments that I felt worked on an emotional level, but I largely was just like, this movie, it's all over the place from a tone perspective. It is like super duper brightly like saturated cinematography. Like don't really know what is going on with that. And yeah, like it's kind of a commentary on like Hollywood and fame.
But it's also like, Jonah Hill saying, please forgive me for being an asshole. I mean,
yeah,
it's really...
Yeah,
you weren't done. Sorry.
No, you're right though. It is, and there are like moments they hit. Like his conference room has this giant picture of Kanye in it, and I'm like, oh great, his character is like likes Kanye. But then they actually use it quite effectively. Someone else in the scene says, turns out hating Jews doesn't ruin a person's career. In fact, sometimes it really helps. And then it just immediately cuts back to Kanye's picture. I was like, that felt even more timely, I think, than they even meant to, given recent events of Kanye like mounting a comeback and people being like, well, he's an anti-Semite, but shrug.
Yeah.
So I there's moments that really hit for me in this movie, but largely it's a mixed bag and it's too all over the place. It's fucking bizarre. How did you feel about this one?
I hated it.
Yeah, I suspected that you probably would.
I think Keanu Reeves is great. Like a surprisingly rounded, heartfelt performance. I mean, I believe that this guy hates himself, But the whole time I'm watching this, I'm just thinking to myself, this is somebody who's in recovery who doesn't understand recovery. It's just the fucking pick me, look at me shit that Jonah Hill is doing is fucking maddening. First of all, no one says, they say apology tour, which is I'm sure why they say you need to apologize to people. But no person in recovery would ever say you need to apologize. You would say you need to make amends. That's what you would say,
Yeah.
And you would never, if you were a person making amends, probably wouldn't say I'm sorry because for some reason that just always seems to come off as insincere. I just fucking hated this. I hated why the fuck are Matt Bomer and Cameron Diaz in this just because you can have them in this.
Right.
It's their characters do nothing except at the very end, you get that catharsis when he makes amends to them. And everything in this movie is like, except for the actual video itself, everything in this movie is tell instead of show. It's really irritating that way. I just, what scene I thought was actually funny or funny uncomfortable? One scene, the scene with his mother, and it turns out she's on The Real Housewives. Because I thought that's a good reveal. It was a good scene between the two of them, and then the reveal that she's on Housewives, it backs up his story that she was horrible,
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. That was a really well done scene because they have this really tender emotional moment, and you think that and then there's a beat where she's like, "All right, can we back it up and do it again? I want to get a different reaction to his apology." And you're like, "Oh my god, what the hell is wrong with you? You guys actually were sharing a legit moment, and you ruined it."
Yeah, I hated the Drew Barrymore scene, not the one where Keanu leaves, but when Matt Bomer comes over and he's like, "I'll save you," and then he just starts saying dumb shit that isn't remotely funny.
That's a post-credit sequence, by the way.
Yes, it is a post-credit. So this movie is 76 minutes long, but with credits it's 83. And there's just not enough movie in here. There's not enough story in here. There isn't a story. Like, who wants to watch a fucking famous person who's got 2 Oscars and all this shit, and is recovering from a heroin addiction, go fucking make amends? Who wants to watch that? I didn't know what this was about, by the way, when you were like, "Hey, would you like to watch The Outcome? It's Keanu's new movie." And I was like, "I'll definitely watch Keanu." And then I started watching it and I was like, and I saw it directed by Jonah Hill and I was like, "Oh no. Oh no." Because Jonah Hill just sucks. I like, the more I learn about his personal life, the more he's just the worst, and the whole separating the art from the artist bumper sticker, while clever, this is just such a fucking fake, forgive me, fucking bullshit. And they already have. You got Drew Barrymore, you got Cameron Diaz, Keanu Reeves, Matt Bomer, I mean, Matt Bomer's not like a movie star or anything, but he's been in a billion movies.
Right.
David Spade, Martin Scorsese. I mean, these are all, I mean, Scorsese, of course, Jonah Hill's been in Martin Scorsese movies, but.
Right. And I actually thought his scenes were extremely well acted. I thought Scorsese was actually
the first
excellent
one,
in this.
The first one where he's telling him, you know, I didn't know the last time that I talked to you was going to be the last time I've talked to you, which, by the way, is not a new sentiment in any movie, but he does it very well.
Yeah.
But then when, you know, Reef calls him up at the end of the movie and he's like, I'm just calling to ask how you're doing. He's like, what the fuck? It's just like, can we stop doing this? Stop doing this. Okay.
I went on for way too long, but I did like it at first where he's like, what are you asking me about? What do you want? He's like, I'm just calling to ask how your day was.
Yeah.
He's like not getting through to him.
And the thing that I hate the most about this movie is that when you look in the poster, Jonah Hill's name is above Keanu Reeves' head, and Keanu Reeves' name is off to the left. Fuck off. I mean, I know that you apparently, it had an identity crisis, but it seems like you liked it more than I did, so I'm sorry to shit all over it, but I just fucking hate this thing.
No, I could see it being irritating to other people, and really, I found it very irritating too. It's just, I was surprised by the moments that did actually work. When I sat down and watched it and Jonah Hill showed up, I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna really fucking hate this movie. But I enjoyed it more than I expect to do, despite being very annoyed every time he was there.
Yeah. You know who I liked? I liked Laverne Cox.
She was great.
I thought she was great.
Yeah, that whole victim capitalism thing I actually thought was interesting too. Of like,
it is actually an interesting idea, but just kind of half-assed in this, you know? It's like everything about this is just like, I don't know what it is. I mean, you weren't canceled, Jonah Hill. You just fucking directed a movie with Keanu Reeves as the star. One of the biggest movie stars of the last 30 years. Fuck, man. Everybody's problems are their problems. I understand. And they're important to you because they're your problems. It's like, you know, when you watch the Metallica documentary, Some Kind of Monster, and you're like, I'm watching four rich assholes like argue about, you know, where the drum beat's supposed to come in. But like, that's their life. I understand. This one I don't really understand because I understand why you would do this. But just the naked, like throwing yourself, it just seems so insincere. I think that's what it is. It just seems insincere.
Yeah, and then, I think that's a good word to describe this movie. It seems insincere.
Yeah, but the thing on top of it, though, is you've got Keanu Reeves giving a very sincere performance. I mean, I don't think he really knows how to half-ass things, but like he is just really looks like he's in it. And I'm like, wow. I mean, I will be the first person to admit, as much as I love Keanu Reeves, he's not always giving the best performances, but I think he's a great
not
movie
known for
star.
His range either.
Right, but I was kind of surprised by how he's truly excellent in this.
He is. I think he's the best part of this movie. He gives a really excellent performance, and maybe that was part of what was carrying me through, is that I was enjoying Keanu Reeves so much and seeing him play something that felt like a different thing that I haven't seen him do.
It's definitely different, yeah.
I think it was also smart of them to pick someone like Keanu Reeves to play this character because he is so beloved as a movie star and known as a man of the people, nice guy, treats everybody well. Like, you don't have any Me Too stories or stories of him being an asshole. There will be none of that,
yeah. Like, you ever seen all those photos where he's like taking photos with his women fans, but he's not actually touching them?
Yeah, his arm is outstretched like in the direction, but not actually touching them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that was also a smart choice. Like, to take somebody like that and have them play this character who's been a real giant asshole, even though outwardly seems like a nice guy and he is constantly obsessed with Googling himself. Like, I liked when he wrote like, Reed Hawk an asshole ? Question mark, question mark, question mark in his like Google search. That was
and then the Google search is like, Reef Hawk is not an asshole. In fact, he's the nicest guy ever.
Yeah. Kept second guessing himself.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, Insincere. Yeah, I should have hit upon that earlier. I did a lot of tongue twisting there for no good reason. But, when movies, when you find them confounding, sometimes you have to flounder about what it is that's just so awful about it. So, you've got, I don't understand. The whole thing with the two best friends, I just don't get it. I get it from the sense of, in real life, you maybe have two best friends who have been with you through everything, but he's clearly been so abusive to them and they're holding back from telling him. And so it can just be this cathartic moment at the end when he finally does make amends to them.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
I will say this though, recovery movies are hard, especially because there are so many people who know what recovery is like, which is different for every person, of course. But I'll just go back to insincere.
No, I think that's an excellent word to describe this movie. It's definitely putting on airs, putting on a show in a way that just feels like it's like tap dancing the whole time. Like, look at me, look what I'm doing.
Exactly. And you got to be like Gregory Hines or Sam Davis Jr. to make me not think like, look at this asshole tap dancing.
Yeah,
like, oh no, this
theater
person
elbows you hate.
Yes, but you know what? Gregory Hines never did theater elbows. So that's why he's fucking Gregory Hines.
I found the assistant funny too. Her whole bit about how her parents' divorce was her personal Holocaust was pretty funny. That whole exchange that he has with her.
Yeah,
when
she was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that. I don't know if I thought that was funny, but I did appreciate that her character was just a loon, and everyone was just fine letting her be a loon.
Right.
So, yeah. Whereas the Jonah Hill character is always talking about why he talks about people the way he does and why he speaks like that. And it's like, shut up. Let's just have some mystery. How about you just talk like an asshole and we get no explanation? How about that?
Yeah.
I mean, but he comes from the Judd Apatow school of like, tell him you're going to tell the joke, tell him why you told the joke, So anyway.
Yeah.
I'm getting really worked up.
Yeah.
Not as much as I have in the past about some movies. Like I haven't screamed at all here.
No. But I could see why you hate this movie. I could see why other people hate this movie. And I think a lot of what I enjoy about this rests on Keanu Reeves' shoulders.
Oh, for sure. I say again, give him all the credit for just, sometimes I feel like he's in a different movie because his character doesn't really have jokes or whatever. He's like the grounded center, which is the point. I understand. But his assistant is crazy. His agent is crazy. Like his two best friends are relatively grounded, but then there's a couple of scenes where they're acting like fucking dopes, like when they're screaming song lyrics at the top of their, range in the car when he's just, It's a strange movie. It's a strange movie, Evan.
Yeah, it truly is. All right. Well, let's see. So to recap, it sounds like you would not recommend Normal.
I don't. I mean, unless you're a Bob Odenkirk completist, which I may be. Now, I still have to watch Breaking Bad and Never Call Saul. But let's say Bob Odenkirk movies. I know. What is it with me? I just don't want to watch TV series. I don't know. Even series I liked, I've stopped watching. Like I stopped watching The Boys halfway through the third season. I was loving it, but I just stopped watching it. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yes, I think that's a pass
that's
on.
An A.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I think it's safe to say for both of us, honestly, that I would say nay to Outcome. Like I don't know that the sum of its parts are enough to like say, yeah, you should totally watch this movie, even though it's on Apple TV Plus.
Yeah.
Like it's streaming. If you got it, you can watch it.
I mean,
and
as good as Keanu really Reeves love Keanu Reeves, yeah.
Yeah, this is for Keanu completionists only because it is it's a slog. It is frustrating to watch. the listeners, despite my enjoyment of elements of the movie, it was not easy to get through.
Yeah, like this is 83 minutes long, and you feel every one of those 83 minutes.
Yeah, it is not an easy watch. So Keanu completionists only need apply. Everyone else can skip this one too.
Yeah. Indeed.
All right. Well, that wraps things up for this week's episode. I want to start by saying a huge thank you to our editor, Otto Clamor. Otto, thank you for making it sound so great week after week.
Thank you, Otto. Evan did that just long enough so I could finish yawning. Thanks, man.
No problem.
It's late at night here at Spoiler Piece.
Yeah, it's getting late. Let's see. So you can find us anywhere you get podcasts. We're on all the apps. We're on social media. We're Spoiler Piece Theater on Facebook. We're at Spoiler Piece and some of the other places like Instagram and whatnot. And you can also email us, spoilerpiece@gmail.com, if you want to chat with us about one of these movies, tell us your thoughts, talk to us about another movie, or basically anything else. We like to hear from listeners.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like the show, please rate and review us by going to ratethispodcast.com/spoilerpiece. Ratings and reviews are very much appreciated. They help give us cred in the podcast world and, help new listeners find the show. And then lastly, if you really, really like the show, please consider joining our Patreon, as I mentioned at the top of the episode. This week, we were talking about the 2009 film Triangle, and that was a fun combo. So for $5 a month, you get access to weekly bonus episodes like that one. You get access to our back catalog, which has hundreds of bonus episodes, and you get to vote in monthly polls. And we've got a new one coming soon, so look out for that. My name is Evan Crean. I'm co-chair of the Boston Online Film Critics Association, co-author of Your 80s Movie Guide to Better Living, and co-host of the It's a Pictures podcast. You can follow me on social media as Real Recon. That's real as in film reel.
And my name is Dave Riedel. I am a member of the Boston Online Film Critics Association. I yap about movies, and I'm on Instagram, Letterboxd. I'm back on Twitter, but I can't tell anybody my screen name because I want to keep it to myself.
Okay.
But I'm Dave Sees Movies everywhere, and I'm David M. Riedel on Blue Sky. So there you go.
Yeah. We'll see you next week.
Bye.